Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, everyone. I hope you are well, staying safe and healthy. On behalf of All India Oracle Users Group, we would like to welcome you to Oracle Groundbreaker Yatra online webinar series. Groundbreaker Yatra 2020 is 14 days non-stop learning and networking event. Today is the last day. And as you can, I'm sure most of you actually attended hundreds of hours of education and learning. Also, some of the highlights we are able to get around 60 plus Oracle Ace and Java champions into one stage. And this normally happens in the Oracle Open World. And still, we have some more sessions for today. So please pass this information to your connections. And you can guide them in the registration and the joining part. And as you can see this slide, we already completed 4 sessions. So here you see Kamran. So he's not joining this one. So we have a big thanks to Nishar Ahmed is supporting us. I'll talk to Nishar in couple of minutes. So basically, this is again after this session we have 3 more sessions lined up. So please join and make it successful event. Um, Quick introduction about AIOG, All India Oracle Users Group, one of the largest Oracle Users Group in APAC region. This is the platform created for Oracle community to learn, network, and share about Oracle. And you know about Yatra. Yatra was a physical face-to-face event started in 2013 and taking as key speakers to major cities. Last year, we covered around 10 cities in 15 days, and this year we're planning to do 15 cities in 20 days. And this year, we all know due to global pandemic, we are hosting virtual online webinar. And good part is, one of the best example we can able to bring, Nishar without, much time. So it's a virtual event, a lot of advantages. Good part is we can bring all the experts into one call. So very important slide. If you're attending this, session, please take a screenshot of this and tweet in Twitter or and post it in Facebook or LinkedIn. Share your support to a users group. Convey your, if you want to say thanks to speaker, you can do it in the, Twitter. And also for yourself, make connections virtually. And this is one of the way. I think this is only one way you can, because you can't see the participants from your side, right? So you can make connections virtually. And also by doing this, we can bring more speakers for our community. So as I mentioned, we already received so many requests. So we are currently working on the calendar, and you can see next Wednesday is already scheduled, right? So you guys can actually register and attend virtually. So with that, first of all, I need to say a big thanks to Nishar Ahmad. He agreed to present in no time. Really, thank you, sir. And Nishar is basically, quick introduction. Nishar is a senior principal product manager at Oracle, leading the GoldenGate cloud services, GoldenGate Foundation Suite products, and also GoldenGate core products. So Nishar is a key member of leadership team that created a new cloud services from inception to growing services for Oracle data integration business. He's also spearheaded multiple Oracle internal innovations, which resulted into top line and bottom line growth in field of database replication. So Nishar is more than 19 years of experience in technology space, specialized in enterprise data replication, data integration products, with a demonstrated track record of creating and scaling world-class business. So again, ask any questions on integration. That's what I can say by looking at his experience, right? So please ask all your questions in Q&A. Please ask properly. That's not a chat window. You can't say like, thank you, welcome. Please use appropriately Q&A section, but you can always do whatever you like in chat window, right? So with that, I'm handing over to Nishar Ahmed. And again, big thank you for your valuable time and a very prompt support for AIOG. Thank you.
Hey, thanks. Am I audible to you?
Yeah,
Okay, awesome. Can you help me
yes, go
with
ahead and share.
sharing?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes,
okay,
please.
sure.
You can share. Yeah.
Okay, you see my screen, right, Sai?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Sai. Thanks for the quick introduction to myself. I don't need to add anything else. In short, I've been with the Golden Gate for more than a decade now, and I used to be a developer earlier for the Golden Gate, but then I changed my career into the product management, which I am liking it a lot. And I've been with the product management since last 7 years, and I've been managing various products as the Golden Gate Foundation Suite products, the Golden Gate Cloud Service, the Golden Gate core products like Golden Gate for PostgreSQL, for which I'm going to present today, the Golden Gate Informix, Sybase. These products have been managing. So the Golden Gate Foundation Suite products are the monitoring and the data validation products, Golden Gate Data and OEM plugin. So that's we are not going to talk today, but today the more important thing is the Golden Gate for PostgreSQL, right? So just a brief intro towards the Golden Gate, right? Most of the uh, users must be knowing what is Golden Gate, but let me give you a brief around what is Golden Gate is in my agenda, and then we can move towards the Golden Gate for PostgreSQL and what is the new functionality that we have just released yesterday, right? So safe harbor statement is just a general product direction that um, I'm going to present. It's not any contract that the Oracle is bound for it. It's not a commitment from our side. It may get changed per the Oracle policies. So in today's agenda, the Golden Gate background, as I said, I would be talking about in brief the success stories around Golden Gate, and the few performance-centric things that I would be sharing in Golden Gate background. And then the Golden Gate for PostgreSQL, the cloud-based Postgres engines, how we are supporting with this new product, and what are the competitive advantages, where the Golden Gate stands with this new product with respect to their competitors. And I have my hands-on demo as well, but I doubt that we would be able to go through that. What I would do is I would share the demo, which is also available on YouTube channel for the Golden Gate YouTube channel. You guys can go through it in your leisure time. But my first goal is to make you understand what is Golden Gate for PostgreSQL and what is that new thing came just yesterday, right? So the Golden Gate real-time data ecosystem, how the Golden Gate started, right? So Golden Gate was a startup in San Francisco Bay Area down the line in 1990s, and the first use case which the Golden Gate sold was based on the HP non-stop system, which was used in all the ATMs across the America. So they wanted to have this available all the time, this ATM system, so that the fraud detection can be the one of the use case that was happening a lot. People were drawing the money and then going back to the another ATM and again withdrawing money in within 10 to 15 minutes or 30 minutes, and then they were shooting out of their actual balance. So this is where the Golden Gate uh, co-founder, he found the value in it, and he proposed this solution to the bank ATMs companies, and it was in no time it was a huge success. So it was started like database HA and DR for the HP non-stop system. But as time grows, the Golden Gate was just not limited to the HP non-stop system, but it has grown into the Oracle and the non-Oracle relational databases. And then during the 2000s, um, it has also served the OLTP synchronization use cases along with the other databases and the data warehousing use cases. So data warehousing use cases where meant to gather the data from heterogeneous databases and then put into the data warehouse for further transformation, I would say, or further analytics purpose. So Golden Gate went along with all this need arises as and time passes with the OLTP synchronization use cases, the applications use cases, the data warehousing use cases like the reporting, visualization, analytics. It has supported all during this period. And then, based on the data warehousing, the new technologies came in picture, which were based on the big data, cloud, right, and Hadoop and all. So this technologies has allowed the users to get the data into the data lake, and then getting the data into the data lake was the mission around 2015s for each and every enterprise customers. So the Golden Gate for big data has helped a lot by supporting various big data targets to put the data into the data lake. And it was just not limited to the big data targets, but it was also ingesting data into the cloud, which is hosting nowadays data lake cloud services. The the latest the use cases that the Golden Gate is also supporting is the stream analytics support. The stream analytics data pipeline use cases where your data lake from where you can get the data and process further on the transformation side. Geospatial or the time series analysis, you can do it using the stream analytics product. So the Golden Gate is working out of the box for the Oracle stream analytics product, which is also now called the Golden Gate stream analytics product, right? And you can perform all this analysis on the fly in the real time. You don't need to wait for your data to come from ETL tool and then you do the transformation or analytics. You can do the live streaming of the data that the Golden Gate Big Data provides to the OSA product. OSA is Oracle Stream Analytics product, and then you do the transformation on the runtime and on the fly, and then push the data into your targets of your choice. So these are the in the overall, I would say, the ecosystem of the Golden Gate that has been evolved over this last 2 decades. The two parts of the Golden Gate solutions, right? The first part I have talked about is the Golden Gate replication, where the source and the target databases are in sync, and then it detects the data, the change data into the real time, and then push this data or replicate this data into the target. And it does speed of transformation in the form of the data pump, but not measure, I would say. You can do the data type mapping, and you can perform the many different way of streaming the data or the replicating the data into the targets. The other part is, as I just was talking about, is the stream processing, right? So the Golden Gate can push the data into the Golden Gate Stream Analytics product, and it can then, based on your events or based on your rules and the exceptions, whatever you have defined in the product, it will transform that data and then load into the targets. So it's up to the user which route he wants to use it. If the use case is just simple replication, they can just directly dump the data into the target. But if they wanted to have more of transformation analytics purpose on the runtime, on the fly, they can use the stream analytics product over here. The Golden Gate enterprise connectivity, this is what the Golden Gate is right now supporting. It's just not the one adapter that the Golden Gate is supporting. It's a true heterogeneous product which supports the relational, non-relational, the SaaS applications even to capture the data, which is what our latest efforts towards those SaaS application use cases, where many many of the customers wants to move the data from the SaaS application and push into the autonomous databases, right? So this is again the area of our investment. Uh, on the relational slide, we have been having Oracle as our heavy Golden Gate users, the IBM. We have a Sybase, DB2, ZOS, and in a very recent future, we have released Amazon Aurora and RDS, just not for PostgreSQL but for MySQL as well. We have been supporting it to capture the data from those. On the target side, we have a very huge list of the targets, right? Just not limited to the DBMS, but the cloud targets are also increasing day by day that we are supporting over here. And just not one cloud vendor, but we have many different various uh, cloud vendors that we are using to support through the Golden Gate, so that the customer doesn't need to go and choose the another tool over here. The NoSQL, the stream analytics, you can push the data into the Kafka autonomous databases. You can push your data into the Apache, Hive, Confluent through the big data. For the cloud, the big data, Google or the Amazon or Azure, you can push the data to the various services. The Golden Gate platform solution capabilities, right? Let me just check the number of, is there any question and answer before we get into the solution capabilities? Okay, there is no question so far. Okay. So the Golden Gate platform solutions capabilities started with the foundational the patterns that we call it the database replication unidirectional, where one database has been captured and then push the data towards the target database. The data flows in one direction, that's why we call it unidirectional. But our other majority of the customers are also using the bidirectional uh, use cases, the bidirectional data replication, where data has been flowing in both the directions. So your source is your just not the source, but it is also a target as well. The peer-to-peer, where the customer wants to move the data across the various databases, the broadcast, the consolidations, the use case which is typically happen into the data warehouse, where customer wants to get the data from heterogeneous databases and consolidate into the one data warehouse where they can run the analytics on it. The distributions, nowadays it is happening a lot that people wants to push the data into the messaging service, and from there all the subscribers will get the data. So Golden Gate is capable enough of all these topologies, I would call it, to push your data into. And the next level of use cases, I would say is started to happen across the industry in last 5 to 6 years, where the data lake ingest is happening with the big data, just not the on-premise data lake, but it can push the data or replicate the data into the cloud data lake as well. The streaming ingest, we just talked about the Kafka, Confluent, and all. Data can be fed out or into all these streaming platforms. The cloud different ingesting, the messaging, the replications, or the NoSQL targets can be feed the data with the help of the Golden Gate. The SaaS replications helps the customers to get the data from various SaaS applications and then put into their customer base. The customer wants to have a different replica into their own premises. So the SaaS replication is purely a managed services, right? So how to get those data into the customer's on-premise data server. So the Golden Gate helps over here to capture all the SaaS applications data and push it into wherever the customer wants it. The streaming processing, data pipelines, the data transformations, or the time series analysis, I would say, the geofencing, the predictive analytics, these are all use cases related to the stream processing. The data will be available to the to the customer through these Oracle Stream Analytics applications, and then it would be given the use cases, it would be served to the various targets. What is the differentiation for the golden gate, and why to choose the golden gate, right? It's just not the one aspect, the performance, but the scale and the trust, right? More than 8,000 the customers in 180 countries. The Oracle golden gate product has been used across almost all the industry area, right? Just not dedicated to the software industry, but it has been used across retail, media, the health insurance, the high tech services, or the FedEx. If you take the IBM products, or the Avaya or anything. Excuse me. The global payments industry, I would say that the 90% of the global payments industry companies use the golden gate. So if you are transacting through the Mastercard or the Visa, your data is routing through the golden gate applications, and it's day to day, everyday moments. This is happening. Over $30 trillion of the product payments happens through the golden gate applications. Now, coming to the performance and the scale is something the other golden gate competitor products cannot match it. The 4 terabytes of the reader per hour can be captured using the Oracle DB product, right? On the non-Oracle side, also we have a very good 4 billion transactions per day on the DB2 systems. And I have a few stats for my Golden Gate for PostgreSQL as well, which we will be talking in a moment. The Golden Gate for PostgreSQL feature. So this was all about what is the Golden Gate, why it was successful, and what are the industrial differentiation with respect to the other products. So the Golden Gate 19.1 is the release where we have just yesterday. I have released the Golden Gate for PostgreSQL product. So the Golden Gate for PostgreSQL available on Golden Gate platform as a delivery. So the customers were able to replicate the data using the Golden Gate for PostgreSQL. But the Golden Gate for PostgreSQL was not supported to capture the data from the PostgreSQL database. So with this Golden Gate 19.1, we have captured, now we are able to capture the data from the PostgreSQL on-premise databases, the Amazon Aurora, the Amazon RDS. Amazon Aurora and RDS are the managed cloud services based on the PostgreSQL by the Amazon, right? And it has been used widely. So so the customers can now capture the data from these three different PostgreSQL flavors, and push the data into either PostgreSQL, Amazon Aurora RDS, or the Golden Gate supported databases that I would be talking in a moment. So this new product, I would say, a new functionality for the Golden Gate for PostgreSQL is available to the customers as of yesterday, and they can start capturing the data from the PostgreSQL version 10 and above. The the Golden Gate, usually, the product has been installed and used on the database systems to gain the more performance, so that the database transaction log is available to the Golden Gate on the same system, and then it captures the data as fast as possible, and then transfer this data to the hub or to the target systems. But during the cloud era, a lot of use cases requires remote capturing and the delivery. Um, Just like, for example, the autonomous database is Oracle Autonomous Database is the managed service where you cannot have any other applications installed on that particular host. Just like that, the Amazon RDS or Aurora is the managed service from the Amazon. So how would you install the Golden Gate on those systems? You cannot, right? So you'll have to have your Golden Gate running on the mid tier, and then from there you have to remote capture the data. Now, the remote capturing of the data requires the Endianness to be normalized into Golden Gate, because most of the databases, they they installed it or they support it on various platforms, the different chipset or the different OS flavors, right? So this Indianness has to be normalized, and it's where the Golden Gate PostgreSQL is providing you the Indianness normalization so that you can run the Golden Gate PostgreSQL on your Linux platform. And from there, you can capture the data from the PostgreSQL database, which is running on either on Windows or Red Hat or the IBM X platform, HPX or Solaris, right? So you don't need to worry whether my it's a big Indian or the little Indian. The Golden Gate will take care of all this Indianness when it captures the data, right? And it's a huge benefit for us. We don't need to work on or dependent on the platforms anymore. We can do the capturing from anywhere, to the any combination supported by the PostgreSQL, and the Golden Gate can capture from it. The similar concept is available, the remote delivery to the same PostgreSQL, Amazon RDS, and Aurora across different chipset on the OS. And this gives you another bad advantage, by the way, that sometimes the customers are worried about their database system's performance, and they wanted to make sure that all these CPU horsepowers or the memories are available, or should be reserved for the database systems, and it should not be touched upon, because that's their main applications to backbone application, the database, and they don't want to touch it because of the security reasons, or the performance reasons. They don't want to touch it. In those use cases or in those scenarios, the remote capturing or the delivery is quite handy, right? So customer can use this model of the remote capturing and delivery in the PostgreSQL as well, so that um, they can do the capturing without affecting the database systems. So as I said, the Golden Gate is the heterogeneous product, right, which supports the various databases across the different platform chipsets and OS, right? And so Golden Gate PostgreSQL also follows the same tradition, and it has also been supporting the heterogeneous data on the target side. So when you have your Amazon Aurora or the RDS or the PostgreSQL data captured, you can replicate onto each and every targets that the Golden Gate is supporting. You can push it data into the NoSQL database. You can push the data into autonomous database or the PostgreSQL target like on-premise PostgreSQL or RDS or Aurora, the Snowflake, Kafka, Hive, Cloudera. Anything is possible. Once the data has been captured by the Golden Gate from PostgreSQL, you can route it to wherever you want it. So it's a true heterogeneous Golden Gate support that we provide uh, from the Golden Gate for PostgreSQL. The supported topologies that I have just touched upon in my earlier slides, the unidirectional, the bidirectional, the data distribution, the broadcast, and all peer-to-peer. These all technologies has been supported by the Golden Gate PostgreSQL as well. So you don't need to worry whether you have the data warehouse use case or you have active for your high availability use case. you can all perform or use these topologies with the GoldenGate for PostgreSQL as well. So now coming to the core feature of the GoldenGate um, for the PostgreSQL, right? So GoldenGate PostgreSQL, first of all, is the version that we are supporting in PostgreSQL is the version number 10 and above. So GoldenGate was also been supported on delivery before we support the capture. So the delivery versions where 9.5 and the 9.6 are also supported, but this PostgreSQL 9.5 and 9.6 are not supported with the capture. The capture is just supporting the PostgreSQL version 10 and above. So from this version onwards, 10, 11, and 12 have been certified with this current release of the GoldenGate for PostgreSQL. And on the Amazon Aurora and RDS side, RDS also follows the same certification, version 10, 11, and 12. And on the Aurora side, Aurora has different versioning mechanism. It has its own number like 2.1, 2.2, like that. So the Golden Gate Aurora version that we started supporting for the capture is 2.2 onwards. So if you have Aurora version number 2.2 or beyond, we supports that for the capture. We support the the native build Golden Gate on the Linux platform, and in the future we would be increasing these platforms. But for now, the Linux platform is the where majority of the PostgreSQL customers are, using it. So we supported the Linux platform. But there's nothing to worry if you have your PostgreSQL database on Windows or HPX or Solaris. The remote capture functionality is handy for you, and you can still capture the data from those databases as well. The initial load or the instantiation, the instantiation, right? So initial load is the first process, I would say, before the CDC process gets start. The CDC is the capturing of the data into the real time, right? The initial load makes sure that your database source and the target are in sync. There is no difference between the source and the target database. So you can perform this initial load through the Golden Gate application, or you can use the database native tools as well. So for Oracle, you can use the Oracle Data Pump or any other tool that you wanted to use for Oracle, which provides you data to be dumped into your target. This similarly for PostgreSQL. PostgreSQL itself has its own native tool, which you can use it to synchronize the source and the target, and then Golden Gate can take over from the CDC side. But if you don't want to use those native tools, you can use the Golden Gate initial load over here, and the initial load will then help you sync your source and the target database, and then the CDC can start from there. So the initial load is also been supported into the Golden Gate for PostgreSQL. The majority of the PostgreSQL data types are all supported. The club and the blob and all are supported. The majority of the database, when I say is it's not a complete list, but the 90% of the customers are covered with this support, and the few more would definitely proceed further, would be available in future releases. The SSL connection, right? It's a very much necessity nowadays to have your database securely connected. So the SSL helps over there a lot, while providing peace for the DBS to 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 have the database connected with the authenticated users. So the Golden Gate supports the non-SSL and the SSL connection, um, both for the capture as well as the delivery uh, with this release. The other features that are part of the PostgreSQL is the globalization. Right? The globalization is very much a necessity nowadays. When you have your databases in a different character sets or the different languages, so the globalization is also supported out of the box with the GoldenGate PostgreSQL for just not for the data but objects as well. We do support the replication slot, the truncation point. So replication slot is a concept where the replication is the streams, I would say the replication streams is been supported out of the box. So PostgreSQL, when we are trying to read the data as in GoldenGate tool from the Postgres database, we have to reserve the few replication slots per extract or the for capture process. We have to register the replication slot. So if I'm going to use 10 extracts to capture data from PostgreSQL, I must have a minimum 10 replication slots available to me. Otherwise, I'll not be able to read the data. So each extract creates its own replication, reserve its own replication slot, and then use it. The coexistence with native replication is again a good feature that has been provided by the GoldenGate. The coexistence means you have your native replication tool capturing the data from your PostgreSQL database or the Amazon RDS database or the Aurora, and then similarly the GoldenGate will also read the same database data on the same time, right? And database will make sure that the data is available to the both through the replication slot. So the GoldenGate can coexist with any native PostgreSQL replication tool, any other tool, and it will help you to see the performance of both the tools. The positioning into the database, it happens through the LSN or the timestamp or the end of file. Whatever you like, you can use it and position your pointers into the database archive log. The heartbeat table is helping the customers to measure the end-to-end lag. So typically, we have a very much variable in our environments. Like the network bandwidth is one thing, the CPU horsepower is another thing, the distance between the source and the target, it also matters. Different processes like data pump involves or the extract process involves, the replication involves. So with all these variable um, components around the end-to-end replication, it's very difficult for a user to figure out where the bottleneck is when the data is not getting replicated within a sub-second latency, right? So heartbeat table helps you diagnose this kind of a problem, where you can go and you can look into it, that your extract is delaying the capture, or your network bandwidth is delaying, or your application is delaying. You can get the details, very detailed information of the lag through the heartbeat table. So we support that as well. So I see there are a few question and answer. Let me take that before we move to the new section. Okay, so the first question is, do GoldenGate has the facility to report data replication discrepancies, um, source target data difference without any other supporting tools? So data discrepancies is a different tool that the GoldenGate Foundation Suite has it, and we call it the data Veridata tool, the GoldenGate Veridata tool, that will help you find your discrepancies between the two databases, and it is independent tool. It has no relation with the GoldenGate, but it's a different tool that you will have to use it. We call it, again I repeat, the GoldenGate Veridata tool. And again, that has been managed by me. uh, okay, the another question is, how do we capture redo vector at source Postgres? Do we have any such thing called redo vector in Postgres? I don't think we have any term called the redo vector over here as such, right? um, but we have a archive log that uh, we read it from the PostgreSQL. So PostgreSQL has creating its own archive log, and then we go and read the archive log using the PostgreSQL provided native interfaces that we use. Does it support Snowflake database? So yes, the Golden Gate for PostgreSQL will capture the data, and then you will have to use the Golden Gate for Big Data product to replicate your data into the Snowflake database. So if I wanted to tell you that how you can do it, so you'll have to use both the product. You'll have to use the Golden Gate for PostgreSQL to capture the data from the PostgreSQL, and then dump your trial file on your mid-tier host or wherever you want, and you have to allow the Golden Gate for big data application to read those trial files, and it will then replicate the data into the Snowflake database, right? So it has been supported. The Saurabh is asking that in case of RDS and Aurora, where do we need to install GGS on Linux? Can't we access GGS from GUI? Okay, so you need to install, the Golden Gate. Um, Golden Gate into the mid tier, as I say, right? For Aurora and RDS, these are the managed services, so you cannot have your Golden Gate installed on those machines. So you have to have your Golden Gate to be installed on either on the Oracle cloud infrastructure, get your VM machine. I will be showing that the detail in my another slide. In another couple of slides, I'll have that as well, that how you can use it, where you can install it. So you can have it installed on EC2 instance as well, the Golden Gate for PostgreSQL, or on OCI as well. And from there, you can replicate the data wherever you want it. So now coming to the another question, that can't we access GGSA from GUI? So this is the Golden Gate for PostgreSQL is the classic architecture, right? So if you are aware what is classic architecture, it's just the extract and replicate process, and the application is to be installed on your machine. It does not have any GUI as such. The GSTI is the command prompt where you have to execute all the commands. For the GUI product, the Golden Gate microservices, the new edge microservices architecture is available for the Golden Gate for Oracle product, right? And a few other products are already in line on the roadmap, and they are going to release it on the microservices architecture as well, like Golden Gate for Big Data, SQL Server, and the MySQL. So the Golden Gate for microservices architecture has a very nice UI, and it's the cloud-ready, service microservices architecture where you have service manager, admin server, the distribution server, receiver path, and all. The performance matrix server is available to you, right? So the Golden Gate for PostgreSQL is the classic architecture. It is not having a microservices architecture. The microservices architecture is on the roadmap. We'll have it in the mid to long term roadmap. But first is the classic architecture for now, and you'll have to work with the GGSCF for now. What is LSN in terms of positioning through timestamp or EF? Okay, so when you position your, okay, so it's like from where you wanted to read your data in your source database, right? So one is through the LSN. LSN is the sequence number that we use it in terms of the, if you know the PostgreSQL, it has its own sequence number, right? Sometimes we call it commit sequence number as well. So this is the position or the number of the row record identity number, right? That I want to start from this particular record in the transaction log. So that you can specify. If you know that number by yourself as a DBA, you can specify those number, and then extract will start reading from that number LSN. The timestamp is again a timestamp that you wanted to specify specifically, that hey, I wanted to capture all the data from 14th of July 8 a.m. Then it will start reading the data from that time onwards. And end of file is again, when the capture starts, whatever is that end of file at that moment, it would pick up that and would start reading from there. So these are the different way of how to position the extract or start reading from which point. It helps you with those different terminologies, I would say. Costing part of the golden gate data, please. Costing part is, you can go for the golden gate for data as part of the golden gate foundation suite, which will have the multiple products available to your user. um, Excuse me. Okay. You can have the Golden Gate Foundation suite as and you will have the Golden Gate Studio, Golden Gate Data, Golden Gate monitoring products like Golden Gate Monitor or the OEM plugin. You can have all this product under one licensing term. We call it Golden Gate Foundation Suite, and which is available at 7,500 US dollar per OCPU, just like same as the Golden Gate licensing. It works the same way. The price is just different. And if you want to go for Veridata, just simple, just a Veridata product, then you can buy the Veridata on a 30,000 US dollar per OCPU, and you can it would be then applicable for wherever your Veridata is installed. If you are installing it on your 4 OCPU machine, then 4 OCPU needs to be licensed, nothing else. So this is how the Golden Gate Veridata has been used, right? The difference between Golden Gate and RAC, both are solution for HA. Uh, so Golden Gate is the logical replication tool, right? Whereas the RAC um, is used for the HA from the database perspective, right? RAC does one-to-one um, replication, I would say. The physical replication, it does that, whereas the Golden Gate provides the logical replication, and it has many other use cases that we have just seen it, right? It's just not limited to the Oracle, but the Golden Gate is for the heterogeneous databases, whereas RAC is for just an Oracle, right? So it depends what is your need, what is your use case, and then you'll have to choose your product. So good that many questions were already been asked. Okay, let me now move towards the next section of my PostgreSQL. Um, that's my Golden Gate for PostgreSQL Replicate. So as I said, the Golden Gate for Postgres Replicate was already been supported from the start, right? From the Golden Gate 12.1 version onwards. Um, but we never had the capture. So along with the capture, we have also improved our replicate on with the CDR, the conflict detection and resolution, which will help you to define the exception in your replicate, to find the conflict, and then you can also place your resolution that what you wanted to have in certain situation, in this particular scenario, what you wanted to do. So you can define both the scenario plus the solution, so that the Golden Gate will perform the action based on your resolution. So the CDR is now supported with the replicate. The coordinated replicate and the batch SQL help you with the performance. Just not the row by row replication happens. The batch SQL will help you with the multiple rows. It combined together and then dump it into the database, so it will improve your performance over a period, but still it's a real time. The coordinated replicator is again multi-threaded replicate, I would say, which will help you the push the data into the target with multiple streams available or multiple threads available that you can define inside into the replicate as well. The parallel replicate is due for the next release, that would be available, which will give you a more throughput from your replicate side. The heartbeat table is again supported for the replicate, just like it is supported for the capture, and it will help you measure your lag. The performance, right? So you guys must be wondering how the performance has been, you know, taken out, even though the product has just been released yesterday. So I had my PostgreSQL beta as well running, and we just closed that yesterday as well. So during the beta, I have customers who has tested this product, and one of the customer who is a Fortune 500 automaker, he has created a stress log, the archive log, worth of 500 GB read per hour, and the Golden Gate capture, sorry, the 400 GB read per hour, and the Golden Gate capture was capturing all this data without any lag. The lag was 1 to 2 seconds on an average. That is very normal in your real-time scenarios. So the 400 GB read per hour is the kind of a performance that the Golden Gate PostgreSQL provides you in its MVP release. This is my first release for the Golden Gate PostgreSQL. Also, since the product is very new, the confidence level is low for the customers. But over here, I'm very confident because of this data, where the customer has run this product for the whole beta period, and it was not stopped at all. It was not crashed at all. So the performance of the PostgreSQL is robust. It is at par with the other Golden Gate products, right? And it helps you um, with your remote capture as well. If you have your network optimized with the 100 millisecond latency, then you can get the as near as performance as your native capture. When I say native capture, is where your capture is installed or running on your database system. So the performance would be as near to the native capture when you have your network bandwidth 100 milliseconds around. Working with the cloud-based Postgres engines, right? So the Golden Gate for PostgreSQL can help you push your data from Amazon or RDS or your on-premise PostgreSQL to variety of the cloud offerings, the Exadata cloud service, or the virtual cloud, the database, the Oracle database running on your cloud virtual cloud machines, right, that you install yourself. You can push the data into those databases as well. You can replicate the data into the autonomous databases, the ADW or the ATP services. And my video is which I would not be able to show you, but I will reference you the video, or you can go to the Golden Gate YouTube channel, and then look for my video on the PostgreSQL replication. So in that case, I have used the Amazon RDS, the capturing of the data, and I have replicated into the autonomous database. It's a very good video with all the technical details that any hands-on guy would need it. The bare metal database cloud service can also be replicated the data from the Amazon OCI Object Store or the OCI streaming services. It can be. So the support is very wide, very vast for the Oracle Cloud, and you can use the Golden Gate PostgreSQL for those cases as well. So this is how you might wanted to have your topologies, your Golden Gate to be installed over here, right? So the first is the
Nishar,
migrated. Yeah.
sorry to interrupt. We just have got 10 minutes left. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I
Just to
know.
inform.
Yeah. 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 Sure. The migrate AWS database to the Oracle ATP in real time, um, just not the ATP, but ADW as well. Extract and load the data into the Oracle ADW in real time, right? So you can capture the data from Amazon, RDS, and Aurora using the Golden Gate for PostgreSQL, which is running on either on Amazon EC2 or on the Oracle Cloud region on your virtual machine. I'm also thinking to have the Golden Gate available, the Golden Gate PostgreSQL to be available on OCI Marketplace in future. So in that case, then you will have the Golden Gate for PostgreSQL ready to use, available to you guys. And and then you can just capture the data, and you can use the block storage to to store your trial data into the block storage, and then from there you can replicate the data into autonomous transaction processing or the data warehousing, or to the analytics cloud you can push the data into it. So this is how you wanted to have your um, um, topology to be configured, or the GoldenGate PostgreSQL to be installed. The competitive advantage, right? The Golden Gate for PostgreSQL versus others. So when I say versus others, there are very less or very few competitors who can provide the robust support or the heterogeneous support or the reliable product available to you guys in the form of the Golden Gate. There are none, right? But still, if you wanted to compare, we can compare with HVR, Stream, or DebSGM, or AWS DMS and all. And you can see the clear differentiation over here. The heterogeneous support is very vast. More than 300 combination of source and target is possible through the Golden Gate. The stability, the data consistency, the recovery, it's 99.9999%, right? The architecture is industry proven, 2 decades old architecture, and we have also moved to the new architecture, the microservices, for the going to get for PostgreSQL in a very near future. The globalization support, the scalability and the performance, the data we have seen it. With our competitor, it is not much, right? I doubt that 400 GB read per hour can be captured by our competitors. I'm pretty confident about that. The big data supports is again huge. The zero downtime, high availability available data transformation. You can do it using the Golden Gate product, or if you want the more data transformation or the advanced level of data transformation, you can use the OSA product, the Oracle Stream Analytics product, which is again working with the Golden Gate. It's a part of the Golden Gate team. And the replication reliability, obviously, 2 decades of experience. The competitors doesn't have that, right? So why it is a strategic choice, I would say, across the 7,500 plus customers, the CDC standard is, the Golden Gate is itself is a standard, right? And the vast era of the big data, real-time data integration supports the product like RAC, ASM, Active Data Guard. You can all use it with the Golden Gate, with your different use cases. So definitely, this is the strategic choice for a customer who wants to replicate the data from PostgreSQL, right? So hands-on demo, I don't have it. Maybe I'll just post the link, or you can just search for the Golden Gate and you would find that over here. In the meantime, let me just send that link over here. I got it. Um, okay, there is one more question. Um, okay, can you? I just shared this list to the panelist chat. Can you just put it into the question and answer so that people can get that? Okay. In
Yes.
order to use PostgreSQL as source data capture via Amazon DMS, okay, we set parameter RDS or logical application to true, correct? Do we do same in case of Golden Gate where Postgres 10 will be source? Yes. PostgreSQL as capture DMS, we set parameter. Yes, you'll have to set this parameter, RDS.logical underscore application to true. Along with that, you'll have to increase your replication slot as well, right? So if you go through my video, which has now been put into the panelist, it has all the details in it, what to set, where to set, and all the configuration details, how to set the data into the configuration and all. So it's all available in my video. Please go through my video, like it, just to share my the Golden Gate for PostgreSQL capture support to your social media. I would really appreciate that, so that the people who are in need of capturing the data, they can get this available to them. So I guess, yeah, we are on time, and I don't see any more questions. So thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate your time. Thanks for hearing me out on the new product they're going to get for PostgreSQL. I must say that it's an awesome product to use. Just let me know if you have your questions around. I have also written a blog for that. Let me post that into it over here as well. Um, I have that handy as well, so that you can use that blog for your reference as well.
Thank you so much, Nishar. We are so grateful to you for coming over on such short notice and for the wonderful presentation. I'm sure everybody here is excited to hear about this product and probably will have more questions in a couple of days. And I encourage everyone to reach out to Nishar. Just uh, follow him, continue your conversations on Twitter or LinkedIn. Reach out to Nishar if you've got questions. And we are so happy and grateful to have you over here. Before we close this session, I just would like to go through the announcements. Sorry for this. The Learn and Win, I think everybody's aware. Just a reminder, please send an email to ogyatra@AIOUG with the required screenshots, and we will begin processing the points. And this is about the videos. Again, important, please go and check out the videos. There's a lot of effort that has been put over here. And lastly, this is a speaker feedback QR code. Take a scan of the QR code, put in your comments, put in your feedback. If you would want us to get more sessions from Nishar on GoldenGate or any other thing regarding this topic, please give us your feedback and we'll try and arrange further sessions in the upcoming Wednesday webinar series. So we would really appreciate your feedback. And again, you can provide more. If you have more questions, you can use this link for that as well. With that, I would again like to thank Nishar for his time. And
Thank you
we
all.
will.
I really appreciate.
Yes, and we have another session coming up shortly. See you then.